I'll be talking to you about my home educated story, about my experiences through being home educated, why I became home educated, and sort of life after being home educated, and telling you sort of what you can achieve and what I've achieved. So, good to go? Yeah. Okay, so I started primary school in 2001. Just like any other child, I was like, so excited, just like friends. I did make friends in primary school, but then, I don't know, I sort of went through sort of 4+ and got up to year 1, and that's when sort of things started going downhill. My teachers, they didn't really help me. We were involved with like the Senko, but they didn't really support me or my mum, and it was quite surprising because we did have that rapport with the school, but they just didn't understand me. They made arrangements, so they did work. They created this school to be accessible for me in my wheelchair, but there's a difference between doing that for you to make it accessible, but actual work and life accessible, it really wasn't. And Mum would have meetings with the Senko, and the Senko would make comments that I daydreamed, I was a tail tattle, and it just wasn't very nice, and that I didn't get on with peers because actually I had more of a rapport with adults. I didn't really get on with kids my own age because of growing up in hospital and having to speak to adults all my life. Then I started getting quite badly bullied by people in the class and people in the school, and it turned out that I just wasn't enjoying it anymore, and it wasn't a very nice place to go or to be. And then in year 5, I started to get quite ill, a lot of hospital appointments, a lot of hospital stays, which wasn't all that good. Okay. So then we thought, okay, we'll give high school a go. But the only issue is that the only accessible school, because I used to live down in Luton, the only accessible school that was near was the other side of town, which meant I had to have an hour's journey in a minibus. And then the people in the minibus started bullying me, so I'd be bullied on the way to school, I'd be bullied in school, and it just wasn't very nice. I actually started being attacked by people in school, and the educational team, special needs team, they didn't really do much. I reported it to them that somebody had actually thrown a metal can at my chest, and I reported it to them, and they said, well, I'm sorry, there's no evidence, so we can't help you. And I was like, right, okay, no problem. It started really draining me. It was early starts, really early, it was late finishes, and it got to the point where mentally and physically I just couldn't cope any longer, and it caused me to have sort of stress memory loss. So I'd come home and Mum would be like, what did you have, what do you have to do, what homework have you got? And I was like, I don't even remember what lessons I had. I can't tell you what I have to do, I can't tell you what I did. And that was scary for me at that age, not knowing what I literally just did a few hours beforehand. So we spoke it through, and the longer I was there, the more I was being bullied by people. I had my K-walker taken away from me by another student, and it just wasn't very nice. Then I got very ill and I had to have a stay in hospital. And I think that was the point when me and Mum sat down and she said, do you know what, I think you might benefit from being home educated. And for me, I was like, oh, you mean I don't have to go to school? This is a miracle. Like, I didn't even think it was possible. And we spoke through it. Mum went to many meetings with the school, and as you previously said, all the different things. We went through it. They said, you know, how about half days? And I was like, no, I don't want to be in that environment, because I'm still going to have to go and be around the people that obviously don't want me there. So they came to a decision where they said, yeah, okay, you can home educate. And for me, that was the greatest day of my life. Leaving the school behind and saying goodbye, like from now on, I won't be that target for people. And also it means I get to stay home with Mum, which was great. And especially when she told me that my PJs will be my school uniform. That was great too. So in 2009, I started to be home educated. And the home education officer did come and visit us when we were down there. He gave us different aspects of like what we can do being home educated. So we decided that I liked fun things, I liked interactive things, visually. So we decided to go to like parks and museums. I absolutely loved our local museum in Wardown. They used to have like science projects and stuff, and that's how I learned. I learned by actually going to museums and reading history that I know I would never have found out at school. So for me, I learned a lot more. It also meant that I could watch like documentaries on the TV, informal documentaries about history. We also had history books. We used the Let's Education books, and we tried our best. We did PE in the local park, which was really, really fun. I did enjoy that. And I learned in my own time, at the own pace, without having to do like 10 subjects all at once, and I got to just pick out what I enjoyed the most. And we also did really fun science projects, which got very, very messy. But it also meant that I could learn important life lessons, how to manage money, how to, do the things that adults have to do that you aren't taught in school. And Mum taught me that, and I think it made me a lot maturer than other people my age, which I really enjoyed. Yeah. So my journey before my next stage of education, I moved from Luton to Dunstable because we realised that life in Luton, it wasn't good. It was a very scary and dangerous place to be. I couldn't actually go out in the streets anymore without the fear of being attacked. So we decided to move up north because north is an amazing place, better than south. And we were nearer Holyhead, so I could go to my nanny and granddad, visit my family in Ireland. And we decided to move to Crewe. So, yeah, being up in Crewe, it opened a world of opportunities for me as a person being home educated. I met John, and he couldn't be any more supportive than he was. He was there for me constantly. He was there for my mum. He literally, he just opened a door for me, and I've not looked back. Like I've just grown, I've blossomed. So I decided at the age of 14, with absolutely no confidence and no social skills, I thought, why not? Let's go and do something that's out of my comfort zone. So I applied to ITV, and about 1,000 people applied for this, which was then had to be whittled down to 125, and I was one of those 125 people. I went to Manchester, and we were basically like, it was sort of like an interview book for like kids, and it was a working placement for 2 weeks. And I just remember getting that email, and they said 25 people were chosen for this, and I was one of those 25 people, and I absolutely could not believe it. during that time, I got to work on the Coronation Street set. I got to meet incredible people, and I also got to film on the Corrie set as well. And for me, that was absolutely amazing, because from somebody who had no confidence, who managed to do that, who managed to achieve that, was absolutely incredible. And I was also asked back for one day the following year as a crew member. As you can see up there, being smashed with a bottle on my back. Yeah. Okay, so then I started multi-sports because I wanted to get active. I wanted to try different sports out, and Andy was putting different sessions on, which I came to like nearly all of them. I ended up getting involved with canoeing, kayaking, rock climbing. I did a lot of swimming, hand biking, and wheelchair basketball. And when I tried wheelchair basketball for the first time, there was actually 2 people there, and I was talent spotted, and they asked me to join a club, which then put me on the path for my basketball journey. Sorry. So when I started, I joined a Stoke-on-Trent club. I got to meet Sir Philip Craven, who, as you might have known, was the president of the Paralympics. I got to play with him. I also got my quote published on a BWB board, which was put up at the championships. And we also won bronze as a team at the championships for Division 3, which then moved me on to my next challenge, which was completing my Duke of Edinburgh Bronze Award. And I'm so happy I did this. And during this time, I got to do so many amazing things that I never thought I'd be able to do. And that was, I did the zip line, which was absolutely thrilling. I got to do bike rides and just lots of different active stuff. But it also meant that it was my first weekend away from my parents, which was terrifying. I'd never done that before. Being in the Lake District and having to be separated from the one person who literally I turned to every second and be like, oh, Mum, to not have that person there. I mean, I did ring you quite a lot though during that time. Well, guess what I just did? And because of that, again, it boosted my confidence. And it just meant it was another thing that I could put on my CV for the future for when applying for a job, and I really got a lot out of it. And then I decided, after long chats with people, that I think I might go back into education, and this time it would be college. Yeah. Which was a massive step for me, because the last time I'd been in an education area, it really didn't go well, and I was really scared about being bullied and not making any friends. But it was the best thing I could have done. I studied alongside BTEC Media. I decided to, well, I had to study, get my GCSE Maths and English, which I was not good at all, so that scared me a lot. I did meet new friends, and I learned how to control my feelings. Things did happen with those friends, but those things that happened made me a better person, made me a stronger person. And yes, it wasn't very nice, but I'm glad it happened, because it made me not be like a quivering wreck in the corner. Now I can stand up for myself, and I can stand up for the people, and I can stand up for my own personal beliefs and opinions. I actually won awards. I won, as you can see the Oscar up there, that was amazing, but we need to share it with the group. But I also won Best Music Video, Best Radio Package, which was to do with LGBT, and I also won the Above and Beyond Award for being at college. I passed my level 2 and GCSE English. I got a C first attempt, which I still don't know how I did that. I'm like, okay, I'm not complaining though. And I moved on to level 3 year 1. I did have a serious illness during this time and I was rushed into theatre. It was a very dodgy time for me and I missed 11 weeks of college because of this, which is why I can't believe I passed English missing 11 weeks of college. But I did fail my maths, which I knew I would. So I didn't mind because it meant I was staying for another 2 years, so I just reset it again. Then I passed my level 3 year 1. Again, I had to resit my maths. Yeah. But I did have a lot of achievements during college. I volunteered with Redshift radio station, which is a community radio station. I volunteered with This Is the Cat radio station, which is based at South Cheshire College, which was also my work experience. I also passed my driving test first time, which I'm very proud of. I had been learning for 5 years, but I finally passed it in the end. That was because of the theory. I could not get to grips with the theory. I also did a really big thing. I came out to my friends and family during this time. I came out to the people in college, which my mum and dad knew, but for me, I didn't know what the reception would be, and it was incredible. They gave me the strength to come out to everyone, and I'm glad I did it. And I ended the college year with a D star, D star, D with a diploma, and I finally passed my maths with a C. Which then led on to getting an unconditional offer for university, which Mum can tell you, I didn't want to go to uni. I hated the thought of going to uni. I was like, why do I have to, no, not more education. But then I thought, do you know what, the more people said to me, you would do well in uni, I was like, stop it, please, stop pushing me. But I looked into it and I went and spoke to the University of Chester, and I decided I'm going to do radio production because I really, really love it, and I'll do digital photography alongside it, and best choice I've ever made. Yeah, okay. So my experience at uni in the first year, I started uni in 2017. I went to training day on my own and networked, creating links. That was the most stressful day of my life, driving to Salford for the first time by myself. And because of creating these links and networking, I managed to get work shadowing at Key 103, which is now known as Hits Radio in Manchester, which was an incredible day. I learned so much from it. I've made loads of friends at uni, and I even got to interview Jason Manford, the comedian, which was phenomenal. I literally messaged him. I was in my uni class. I messaged him on Facebook. I said, oh, you're going to my local theatre. Can I interview you? And not expecting anything back. And he was like, yeah, come before 7. And I was like, I'm in lectures in Warrington. How do I get down there? So she let me off, and I went down, and I did it. And yeah, okay. Because of this, it meant that I won an award for best interview with Jason, which was incredible. I was given that by John Pitford, who is the head of Bauer, and I couldn't believe I won it. I also, during this time, I was a finalist at the Charities' Choice Awards at university due to my volunteering. I volunteered at uni, I volunteer with my local basketball club, put a lot of hours in, and I became a finalist for this. And it also meant that I completed my bronze, silver, and I'm just about to complete my gold volunteering hours. So that's over 150 hours of volunteering I did in 1 year. And I also got my photography work published and hung up at the university. You see it there. Yeah, okay. So I passed my first year with an overall first. and which meant I moved on to my second year at university, and I also created a university wheelchair basketball team, which is a massive thing for me because I wouldn't even know how to set up a club, but because people were behind me, they helped me along the way, it now means we've got a wheelchair, a disability sport at the university, which hasn't happened before. And alongside all of this, my basketball journey had continued and it grown. I joined a team which I'm now captain of, and that's Cheshire Phoenix, which is located in Ellesmere Port. And I'm learning to be a coach. I'm a level 1 legal official as well, not that I like it. But I joined a team. I'm in 2nd division and 1st division. Women's League, which means my teammates are made up of Paralympians and GB players, which is absolutely incredible. And and it also means that I love awards. I won more awards. So we got silver at Women's League, and it meant that we went to the championships again, and we actually got into the final, which was televised via the BBC. I put that up because my name was on it, and that was great. We came second, we got the silver medal with that, and Coventry won. And also recently at the club awards, I won Players Player, and I won the Shining Star Award. And that's a poster for our new team. So basically, for all of this, I'm just here as a home education success story. Obviously, this won't be the story for everyone who's been home educated, and it's still your choice. But I just wanted to show what can happen. You can go back into education with no exams, with no grades, and they will be willing to help you, and you can work your way up the ladder. And from somebody who wouldn't say booze was booze or had a friend, I'm now at university, and I just feel like the future is mine, and I'm really, really happy. Yeah, thank you for listening.